What's the first date tip that could save you a lot of embarrassment? Ask open-ended questions instead of yes/no questions to keep convo going/avoid awkward silence. To add to this, a conversation should not simply be a one-sided info dump. Ask questions and follow-up questions in order to get to know your date. If the only thing you're talking about is yourself, then you're doing it wrong. But what do you do if you're asking all the question and your date is only talking about themselves? Stop asking questions. They're effing up, and they probably don't realize it. After you ask a question and they answer, let the silence sit. Drink your coffee or eat your meal. They'll either keep talking about themselves, or realize what's been happening and ask you the same question back, or ask a new question. Good. This works. I've done this exact thing with a date. Ask them a question and then let the silence sit for a beat. When they stop talking, you can almost hear the oh shit ask something back penny drop. It'd be even better if you didn't have to do this, but some people are nervous talkers on first dates, and if you keep asking them questions, they will keep chattering away without taking a second to ask something back, because they're too jittery. If I get that vibe, then I usually at least go for a second date to see if they relax a bit. Oof, that's a tough one. Perhaps a topic shift to something more open-ended and less personal, like hypothetical situations. Or would you rather questions? Or, if you're me, sit there silently, smile tightly and then not bother with another date. Enjoy your lunch interview. You politely wrap up the date once it's unbearable and say nice meeting you. Then you go live the rest of your life. Always use the restroom before you leave. I've done this. I left my jacket on my seat though, because I didn't want her to think I was skipping out, lol. That's the equivalent of leaving a deposit on your date. But I totally do the same thing. Looking back, it was kind of dumb, but I always left my wallet and phone on the table when I went to the bathroom. As with all of dating, I'd say never risk or wager something you aren't fine losing. That's why I always give my dates chlamydia. There was an episode of 911 where they tackled this. Essentially, this couple matched on a dating service and agreed to go out. The girl, however, didn't follow that rule and wound up having to go to bathroom when they got back to his place. So she does her thing, right, but the toilet ends up being clogged and it overflows. To save herself some embarrassment, she tries to wrap up her crap in a towel with the intention of throwing it out the window. But the window is too high, so she climbs up and gets herself stuck dangling out of the window with her wrapped up poo sitting there on the edge beneath the window. Her date has to call 911 to get her out of there. And wash your hands at least 20 seconds. Don't forget protection. Face mask, goggles, hazmat suit. Honestly, better just stay inside. Make sure that you have enough money to pay for the entire date. I think that splitting the tab for food/drinks on the first date is pretty normal, but it always helps to be prepared, especially if you are the one who asked the other person out. Also, be punctual. Another person has agreed to spend a chunk of their free time with you, so that needs to be appreciated and respected. And don't get effing lit up on shots, reach a level beyond bust, or order any drink that has the word bomb anywhere in the name. Excellent advice. A hearty seconding to your comment about being punctual. If you can't be on time, be early. A first date is like a pilot of a TV show. It determines whether there is going to be a second date and so on. All you have to do on the first date is just have fun. Get to know each other. If you click, it's great. If you don't, so what? It's the first date. As a screenwriter, this is more difficult than it sounds. In the pilot, you have to give a general glimpse at the whole story, but without burning everything you had in one shot, but generating expectation and assuring there's something more you have to stick to see. All this while you're having fun and wanting to spend millions in whatever I'm saying to you. Give me job, please. Stop focusing on yourself and how you sound, look, etc. and lay 100% focus on them. But if they're doing the same thing, you do you. No, you do you. I insist. Please, just do you. Let's make tonight about you. You do me, while I do you. Doobie doobie doo. If both partners focus attention on the other, then you both avoid self-consciousness. Once self-consciousness is dead, that's when real conversation and connection gets to happen. I would recommend to not go for a dinner date or a movie date for the first date. Both are better suited for later dates. Both of them have issues like who pays for the dinner/tickets, and there is no easy escape if the date is not going well. My go-to option is to just go for a coffee/tea in a nice cafe. Coffee and tea are not that expensive, so it really doesn't matter who pays, and they also provide a good atmosphere to just talk to your date. Pro tip, are interesting cafes like the cat cafes that exist in some cities. It is a regular cafe but with cats. If the date doesn't go well, you can still play with some cats. Just remember that if you're on a first date, they said yes to being there with you. They want to be there, so just be yourself. Movies are not it. Silent, no talking. You get to know nothing of the person you are on a date with. This is kind of my thing, but I like putting together first dates where we do some kind of activity. Of course it depends on a lot of factors, but I especially like dates where we do something with our hands. Plopping down when you first meet someone and trying to have a natural 2-hour conversation with someone is pretty difficult in any context, and so keeping your hands busy takes a lot of the edge off. Could you give an example of something you might do on a first date? The comments below are good for a first date and really fun, but they are also very long, 2 to 3 hours. Commitments that may be better for someone you've talked to for a couple weeks and feel a little comfortable with already. Sometimes you want shorter options where your date may feel comfortable leaving after 1 hour in case they aren't feeling it. Local park/beach with other people around. Museum wander around and talk, and there's art or exhibits to fill in the gaps or be conversation starters. Local festival, book/music/art/food. You can start with coffee/brunch/drinks. 1 hour commitment, and then if things are going well you can do one of those, which are events, where you can naturally leave at any point. Or you can start with that list and suggest food or a movie after to continue. When someone on the fence about going on a date sees they have the option, they'll feel better about going on a date they can leave with little hassle vs an art class they have to sit through 3 hours of. As a guy, no touching/kissing on a first date. If they are interested, women will try to touch your arm/hand. I never initiate touching, because if you touch them and they pull away, it's game over. The most I'll ever do on a first date is touch their back as I guide them through a door and maybe a hug at the end of the night. Besides, I like to spend the first date getting to know them. When you're worried about kissing them or how much you can touch them, it's really distracting and turns into a mental tug of war. I like to alleviate that and just have fun and get to know them. Plus, it puts your date's mind at ease and they're not trying to play defense. I found it's just better for everyone if you don't even think about it. Edit. Gold. Thank you very much, kind sir/madam. Much appreciated. As a female, I really think this should be getting more notes. If we are into you, we will absolutely initiate touching. The best bet is going for a hug at the end of a date. If we want to kiss you, we'll hold on and look up at you afterwards. Plus, limiting physical touching during the date will drive us wild. If we are into you, suspense and all that. I have asked hug, handshake, or high five at the end of dates. Highly recommend. That is a great way to end the date. Little bit of humor, something unique to make you memorable, and a way for them to exit without feeling pressured to kiss/hug if they don't want to. Also acts kinda like a mini survey on how the date went. Trim all facial hair and body hair with a groomer and razor. Clean your effing ears. Floss, mouthwash, and brush your teeth and tongue. Put on antiperspirant, not just deodorant. Put it on early and let it dry fully so you don't stain your shirt. Go do something interactive to avoid awkwardness, such as a fun park or the beach or treetop trekking. Don't be clingy, don't be douchey. Just be yourself with an active mindset of being considerate, because let's face it, you're not used to being with a date. Avoid your cell phone and maximize the time together. If the other spends all their time on their phone, cut your losses and move on. People don't realize how important this is, but take a shower right before your date. Put on deodorant, and, edit, disclaimer, only if your date doesn't have a sensitive nose, a small amount of cologne/perfume. You want to smell good if they get up close, but not be overpowering. If people don't know to shower before a date, they have definitely already lost their way in life. Right lol. Reminder, don't shit your pants before a date. My grandpa always said the nostrils are the first holes you penetrate. A good scent goes a long way to getting your dates to like you. Your grandpa sounds like an absolute legend. What other words of wisdom did he share with you? It's just as easy to fall in love with a rich man as a poor man. Never take a cold third strike. And then this last one isn't so much a saying, but he always made sure to dress his best. How you present yourself influences how people see you, and how you see yourself. Shout out to your grandpa. If you're a man who feels societal obligation to pay on the first date, actually listen to what your date is telling you. I much prefer paying for myself, especially that early on in a relationship, but I've occasionally been up against guys who feel the need to pay, even though I was clearly very uncomfortable with it, and I knew neither of them were particularly financially better off than me anyway. Past the point of me offering to be polite, it was quite clear I genuinely wanted to pay for myself, and that was what they wanted too. They just felt pressure to keep up appearances. We ended up agreeing that he would pay in the restaurant and I would transfer him the money. This has happened multiple times to me. It made it pretty clear that they were much more interested in appearing gentlemanly to the waitstaff than making me comfortable. Remember who you're trying to impress.